Every morning, before the world says a single word to you, a voice is already speaking. It tells you that you're too late, too ordinary, too broken, too far behind. It reminds you of every mistake you've ever made and quietly convinces you that tomorrow will look exactly like yesterday. The frightening part isn't that this voice exists. The frightening part is that most people believe it. There is a battle happening inside your mind every single day. No one can see it. No one applauds you for fighting it. Yet this invisible battle decides almost everything. It decides whether you'll chase your dreams or settle for comfort, whether you'll speak up or stay silent, whether you'll grow, or spend another year wondering what your life could have been. Most people think their biggest enemy is failure. It isn't. Failure only hurts for a moment. The real enemy is the voice that convinces you not to try, because a dream you never chase never gets the chance to become reality. Think about the strongest people you've ever admired: athletes, entrepreneurs, artists, leaders. From the outside, they look fearless. But behind every victory was a private war no one ever witnessed. They doubted themselves. They felt fear. They questioned whether they were good enough. The difference wasn't that they never heard the negative voice. The difference was that they stopped obeying it. Your mind is like a battlefield with two armies. One side is built on fear, the other is built on faith. Fear whispers, "What if you fail?" Faith answers, "What if you succeed?" Fear says, "People will judge you." Faith says, "They're too busy worrying about themselves." Fear says, "Wait until you're ready." Faith quietly reminds you, you become ready by starting. Every decision you make gives one of these voices more power. Most people unknowingly feed fear every day. They scroll for hours instead of building. They compare instead of creating. They complain instead of improving. Little by little, fear grows, stronger, not because it's powerful, but because it's being fed. Here's what nobody tells you. Your brain was never designed to make you successful. It was designed to keep you safe. Thousands of years ago, safety meant staying inside the tribe, avoiding danger, taking fewer risks. Today, that same survival system treats public speaking, starting a business, changing careers, or chasing your biggest dream as if you're being chased by a predator. Your heart races, your palms sweat, your mind screams, "Go back." But nothing extraordinary has ever lived inside the comfort zone. Everything you've ever wanted waits just outside the place your fear tells you not to go. The silent war has already started. The only question left is, which side are you feeding? The most dangerous enemy in your life doesn't shout, it whispers. Every time you say, "I'll start tomorrow," it wins. Every time you tell yourself, "I'm not good enough," it grows stronger. The strange thing is, this enemy never forces you to quit. It simply convinces you to wait. One more day, one more week, one more year. And before you realize it, years have disappeared. Dreams become regrets. Potential becomes memories. Fear has a clever disguise. It rarely looks like fear. It looks like logic, it says. Learn a little more before you begin. Wait until everything is perfect. Someone else can do it better. It sounds reasonable. That's why millions obey it. Perfection has destroyed more dreams than failure ever could, because people who wait for the perfect moment usually spend their lives waiting. Look at a child learning to walk. They fall again and again and again. No one tells them they're failures. No one laughs at them. They simply stand up until walking becomes natural. Imagine if adults treated failure the same way. Imagine how many businesses would exist, how many books would be written, how many lives would change. But somewhere along the journey, we stopped seeing failure as a lesson. We started seeing it as an identity. One mistake, and suddenly we believe, "I am a failure." No, You failed. You are not failure itself. There's a difference. Your mind records every sentence you repeat. If every morning you tell yourself, "I'm unlucky, I'm always behind, I can't do this," eventually, your brain stops questioning those words. It accepts them as truth. And once your mind believes something is true, your actions begin to prove it. That's why winning the battle inside your mind always comes before winning the battle outside. Your future is built by the conversations you have with yourself when no one else is listening. Because every single day, your thoughts become your choices. Your choices become your habits. Your habits become your character. And your character creates your destiny. The war isn't outside. It's happening right now, inside your own mind. Here's the truth that changes everything. Most people are not trapped by their circumstances. They're trapped by the story they've been telling themselves for years. I'm just not talented. I've always been unlucky. People like me never succeed. At first, they're just thoughts. Then they become beliefs. And eventually, they become invisible walls. Imagine an elephant tied to a small wooden stake. When it's young, it tries to break free, again, and again. It fails every time. Years later, that same elephant is powerful enough to pull down an entire tree. Yet it never even tries. Not because the rope is strong, because the belief is. Many people live exactly the same way. They're no longer held back by reality. They're held back by old beliefs that should have died years ago. Maybe someone once told you, "You'll never be successful." Maybe you failed once and decided success wasn't meant for you. Maybe life knocked you down so many times, you stopped believing you could ever stand tall again. But listen carefully. Your past may explain your thinking. It does not have to define your future. Every successful person reaches a moment where they stop asking, "What happened to me?" and start asking, "What can I become from this?" That single shift changes everything because victims wait for life to change. Leaders decide to change first. Your mind will always search for evidence to support what you believe. If you believe you're weak, you'll notice every failure, every rejection, every mistake. But the moment you believe you're capable of growth, your mind begins searching for opportunities instead of excuses. The world hasn't changed. Your focus has. Think about a camera. It captures only what it's pointed towards. Your mind works the same way. Focus on problems. You'll find more problems. Focus on possibilities. You'll start seeing doors that were always there. The greatest prison isn't made of concrete or steel. It's made of fear, self-doubt, and limiting beliefs. The day you question those beliefs, the prison door quietly unlocks. The war inside your mind isn't won by becoming fearless. It's won the moment you stop letting fear make your decisions. And that's where real freedom begins. There is one habit that silently steals more dreams than failure ever will. It doesn't happen once. It happens every single day. Its name is procrastination. Most people think procrastination is laziness. It isn't. It's fear wearing a different face. You don't delay because you're lazy. You delay because you're afraid. Afraid of failing. Afraid of being judged. Afraid that your best still won't be enough. So your mind makes a deal with you. We'll start tomorrow. Tomorrow becomes next week. Next week becomes next month. Before you know it, another year is gone. The painful truth is this. Life isn't changed by the decisions you plan to make. It's changed by the decisions you make today. Every successful person has felt unprepared. Every champion has felt fear. Every leader has questioned themselves. The difference is, they moved before they felt ready. Action came first. Confidence came later. Most people think confidence creates action. The truth is exactly the opposite. Action creates confidence. Think about the first time you learned to ride a bicycle. You weren't confident. You were terrified. You fell, you got back up, you fell again. But every small attempt taught your brain one important lesson. Maybe I can do this. Confidence wasn't a gift, it was earned. Your biggest breakthrough is hiding behind one decision you've been avoiding. One phone call, one application, one conversation, one first step. Not 10, just one. Never underestimate the power of a single courageous decision. History has been changed by ordinary people who chose to act while everyone else waited. Remember this. Your future self is watching the choices you're making today. Every excuse you accept, every opportunity you ignore, every dream you postpone, is writing tomorrow's story. The question is, will it become a story of regret or a story of courage? Because the silent war inside your mind isn't won by thinking differently. It's won the moment you take action despite the fear. Comfort feels harmless. It feels safe. It feels peaceful. But comfort has a hidden cost, and most people don't realize they're paying it until years have passed. Comfort tells you, stay where you are. Don't take the risk. You've got enough time. It never sounds dangerous. That's what makes it so powerful. Imagine two versions of your life. In one, you choose comfort every day. You avoid difficult conversations. You ignore your goals. You stay in places that no longer help you grow. Nothing feels painful, but nothing changes. Now imagine the second life. You wake up early when no one is watching. You keep your promises to yourself. You do the hard things even when they feel uncomfortable. Some days are exhausting. Some days you want to quit. But slowly, you become someone you never thought you could be. Here's the truth. Comfort and growth can never live in the same place. The moment one enters, the other leaves. Think of a seed buried deep in the ground. Before it becomes a mighty tree, it must first break apart. If the seed refuses to break, it never grows. Pain isn't always a sign that something is wrong. Sometimes, pain is proof that you're becoming stronger. Every great achievement demands a price. The price isn't talent. It isn't luck. It's the willingness to stay committed when the excitement disappears. Anyone can work hard when they're motivated. Very few people keep going when motivation is gone. That's where discipline is born. Discipline isn't forcing yourself to suffer. It's choosing what you want most, over what you want right now. The world celebrates the finished product, the medals, the success, the applause. But no one sees the lonely mornings, the failures, the sacrifices, the moments when giving up felt easier than continuing. Those invisible moments create visible success. So ask yourself this: when your future looks back on today, will it thank you for choosing comfort, or will it thank you for choosing courage? Because every time you choose growth over comfort, you don't just change your day, you change your identity. And once your identity changes, your entire life begins to follow. The world only sees your victories. It never sees the nights that created them. No one applauds the mornings you woke up when your body wanted to stay in bed. No one celebrates the days you kept working while everyone else was distracted. No one notices the moments you chose discipline over excuses. But those are the moments that define your future. Character is never built in front of a crowd. It's built when no one is watching. Imagine two people with the same dream. Both are talented. Both are intelligent. Both want success. One waits until they feel motivated. The other keeps showing up, even on the days they feel empty. A year later, their lives look completely different. Not because one was luckier, because one understood a powerful truth. Your habits are voting for the person you'll become. Every workout, one vote. Every book you read, one vote. Every promise you keep to yourself, another vote. At first, nothing seems to change. The results are invisible. That's where most people quit. They mistake silence for failure. But nature has always worked this way. A bamboo tree can spend years growing underground before anyone sees a single shoot. Its roots are spreading. Its foundation is strengthening. Then one day, it rises faster than anyone expected. People call it an overnight success. They never saw the years of invisible growth. Your life works the same way. Just because nobody can see your progress doesn't mean progress isn't happening. Every disciplined decision is building roots beneath the surface. One day, the results will speak so loudly, you won't have to. So never underestimate today's small effort. Because today's invisible work becomes tomorrow's impossible achievement. The silent war inside your mind is not won in one heroic moment. It's won in hundreds of ordinary moments. When you choose to keep going, even when no one is there to cheer for you, that's the moment you stop chasing success and start becoming the kind of person success naturally follows. There comes a moment in every person's life when they realize the battle was never against the world, it was against themselves. The world didn't wake up trying to stop you. Your past didn't decide your future. The opinions of strangers never had. The power you gave them, the greatest obstacle, was the version of you that kept saying, I can't. Maybe later. I'm not enough. But something incredible happens. The moment you challenge those words, your mind begins to change. Not overnight, not with magic, but with every decision that proves your old beliefs wrong. You speak up when fear tells you to stay silent. You take the opportunity when doubt tells you to wait. You keep moving when your emotions beg you to quit. Every small victory sends your brain a new message. I am stronger than I thought. Confidence isn't built by reading motivational quotes. It's built by keeping promises to yourself. Every promise you break, your self-respect becomes weaker. Every promise you keep, your self-respect grows stronger, and once you trust yourself, everything changes because success is impossible without self-trust. Think about a mountain climber. They don't reach the summit in one giant leap. They focus on the next step, then the next, then another. Eventually, the mountain that once looked impossible is beneath their feet. Life works the same way. Stop staring at the entire mountain. Focus on today's step, today's decision, today's discipline, today's courage. One day, you'll look back and realize the impossible wasn't impossible at all. It only looked that way from the bottom. The silent war inside your mind doesn't end because life becomes easier. It ends because you become stronger than the voice that once controlled you, and the day you stop fighting against yourself is the day your real life finally begins. One day you'll wake up and realize something. The voice that once filled your mind with fear has become quieter. Not because it disappeared, but because you stopped listening to it. That is how real transformation happens. Not in one dramatic moment, but in thousands of quiet decisions. The decision to get up when quitting feels easier. The decision to keep learning when progress feels invisible. The decision to believe in yourself even when no one else does. Life will always test you. There will be failures, rejections, heartbreaks, moments when everything you've worked for seems to fall apart. But remember this, storms don't come to destroy every tree. They reveal which roots are strong enough to survive. Your struggles were never sent to break you. They were sent to build the version of you your future requires. One day, people will look at your success and say, you're so lucky. They'll never see the lonely nights, the silent battles, the tears you never showed, the moments you wanted to quit but chose to continue. That's the price of becoming extraordinary. Never compare your beginning to someone else's ending. Everyone has a different clock, a different path, a different purpose. Your only responsibility is to become a little stronger than you were yesterday. If you win that battle every single day, success becomes inevitable. So from this moment on, stop asking, can I do it? Start asking, what is the next step? Because your future isn't created by giant leaps. It's created by the small decisions you make. After this video ends, the silent war inside your mind has been there for years. Today, you finally know your enemy. And once you know your enemy, you also discover your greatest weapon, your choice. Every single day, you have two voices inside your mind. One says, give up. The other whispers, One more step. The life you live tomorrow will be decided by the voice you choose to follow today. So choose courage, choose discipline, choose growth, choose yourself, because the greatest victory you'll ever achieve will never be over another person. It will be over the version of yourself that believed you couldn't. And when that day comes, no obstacle, no failure, no fear will ever be powerful enough to stop you again. The war was never outside, it was always within. And today, you chose to win. If this message spoke to you, don't let it end here. Share it with someone who needs to hear these words. Subscribe, keep growing, and remember, the strongest person in the room isn't the one who never falls. It's the one who gets back up every single time. Take a moment and think about this. Who speaks into your mind every day? The people you spend time with, the videos you watch, the conversations you listen to, the words you repeat. Every one of them is planting a seed. Some seeds grow into confidence, others grow into fear. If you spend every day around people who complain, soon, complaining feels normal. If you're surrounded by people who make excuses become your language. But when you're around people who dream bigger, work harder, and refuse to quit, something inside you begins to change. Energy is contagious. So is attitude. That's why protecting your mind is one of the most important decisions you'll ever make. Your mind is like a garden. If you don't choose what grows there, weeds will grow on their own. Negative thoughts don't need an invitation. They appear naturally. Positive thinking, discipline, and courage must be planted intentionally. Not every voice deserves your attention. Some voices are trying to build you. Others are quietly destroying your confidence. Choose carefully, because your future will sound exactly like the voices you keep listening to today. Most people spend their entire lives running from pain, avoiding it, hiding from it, praying it never comes. But what if pain isn't the enemy? What if it's the teacher you've been ignoring? Think back to the hardest season of your life, the heartbreak that shattered your confidence, the failure that made you question yourself, the rejection that kept you awake at night. At the time, it felt like your life was falling apart. But look at who you became because of it. You grew wiser, stronger, more patient, more resilient. Pain has a strange way of revealing the person hiding inside you. Pressure creates diamonds, fire strengthens steel, and hardship shapes character. Without resistance, muscles never grow. Without challenges, the mind never evolves. The strongest people aren't the ones who avoided suffering. They're the ones who learned something from it. Every scar carries a lesson. Every setback carries a message. The question isn't, why is this happening to me? The better question is, what is this trying to teach me? That one shift changes everything, because victims see pain as punishment. Winners see pain as preparation. Life isn't testing you because it wants you to fail. It's preparing you for responsibilities you aren't ready to carry yet. Imagine giving a 100-kilo weight to someone who's never trained. It would crush them, not because they're weak, but because they haven't grown strong enough yet. Success works the same way. Before life gives you greater opportunities, it builds greater strength within you. So don't curse the difficult days. Respect them. They're shaping the version of you your future depends on. One day, you'll look back at the moment that almost broke you and realize it was the moment that truly built you. Sometimes the greatest gift life gives you arrives wearing the disguise of pain. And those who understand that truth never fear struggle again, because they know every battle is making them stronger for the next victory. Everyone talks about chasing success. Very few people ask a better question. Who do I need to become to deserve it? That's the question that changes everything, because success isn't something you chase forever. It's something you attract by becoming the right person. Think about it. A person who quits every time life gets difficult cannot build an extraordinary future. A person who blames everyone else can never take control of their own destiny. A person who refuses to grow will always stay where they are. The life you dream about requires a different version of you, a version with more discipline, more patience, more courage, more self-respect. The beautiful part is, you don't have to become that person overnight. You become them, one decision at a time. Every time you wake up instead of hitting snooze, you're becoming that person. Every time you choose learning over endless scrolling, you're becoming that person. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, you're becoming that person. Success isn't created on the day you reach the goal. It's created on the ordinary days, when nobody is watching. Imagine an architect building a skyscraper. Before anyone admires the building, months are spent laying the foundation. No one takes photos of the foundation. No one applauds the concrete. But without it, the skyscraper would collapse. Your character is your foundation. Confidence, integrity, discipline, consistency. These are the bricks that hold your future together. Never envy someone's success if you're unwilling to build what they're standing on. Remember, the world rewards results, but results always follow identity. The moment you stop asking, "How can I become successful?" and start asking, "How can I become the kind of person success naturally follows?" everything begins to change, because your future isn't waiting for a miracle. It's waiting for a stronger version of you. Become that person, and the life you've been chasing will begin chasing you. There is one place where the truth can never hide: the mirror. Not because it shows your face, but because it reflects the life your choices have created. Every morning, you stand in front of it, and whether you realize it or not, you ask yourself one silent question: am I becoming the person I promised I would be? That question has nothing to do with money, nothing to do with fame, nothing to do with what the world thinks about you. It has everything to do with the promises you make when no one else is listening. The hardest promises to keep are the ones you make to yourself. I'll start on Monday. I'll stop making excuses. This time will be different. For a few days. You believe it. Then life gets busy. Motivation disappears. Old habits return. And slowly, the person in the mirror becomes harder to recognize, not because you've changed overnight, but because small compromises have quietly replaced your big dreams. Here's the truth. Your future isn't destroyed by one terrible decision. It's shaped by hundreds of tiny decisions that seem unimportant. One skipped workout, one extra hour of procrastination, one excuse, one broken promise. By themselves, they seem harmless. Together, they build a life you never intended to live. Now imagine the opposite. One early morning, one chapter of a book, one difficult conversation, one healthy choice, one act of discipline. Those small victories begin stacking on top of each other. Weeks turn into months. Months turn into years. Then one day, you look in the mirror again. This time, you don't just see a different person, you see someone you trust. Someone who keeps their word. Someone who no longer runs from discomfort. That is real confidence. Confidence isn't loud, it doesn't need to prove anything. It comes from knowing, I can depend on myself. And when you reach that point, the opinions of other people lose their power, because the only approval you truly need is your own. The mirror never lies. It simply reflects the habits you've chosen. If you want a different reflection tomorrow, start making different choices today. Because every great life begins with one ordinary decision. To become just a little better than yesterday, one day, years from now. You'll pause for a moment and look back at the person you used to be. The person who doubted every decision. The person who was controlled by fear. The person who waited for the perfect moment. And you'll realize something incredible. You were never missing talent. You were never missing intelligence. You were never missing potential. You were only missing one decision. The decision to stop fighting against yourself. Life has a way of testing everyone. Some people break under pressure. Others allow pressure to reveal the strength they never knew they had. The difference isn't luck. It isn't money. It isn't where they were born. The difference is the choice they make when life becomes difficult. Every morning, life places two doors in front of you. Behind one door, comfort, excuses, average, regret. Behind the other, discipline, growth, courage, purpose. The doors never disappear. They appear again tomorrow, and the day after that. Your future is built by the door you choose every single day. Remember, mountains aren't climbed in one giant step. Books aren't written in one night. Great lives aren't built in one moment. Everything extraordinary begins with one ordinary decision. Repeated consistently. Maybe no one believed in you. Maybe people laughed at your dreams. Maybe life knocked you down more times than you can count. But none of that has the power to decide your future. Because your past is a chapter, not the entire book. Today is a blank page. Tomorrow hasn't been written yet. The pen is still in your hands. So stop waiting for confidence. Stop waiting for permission. Stop waiting for the perfect time. The perfect time has never existed. There has only ever been this moment. The silent war inside your mind may never completely disappear. There will still be days when fear whispers, when doubt returns, when giving up feels easier than moving forward. But now you know something you didn't know before. You don't have to silence fear. You simply have to stop obeying it. Because courage isn't the absence of fear. Courage is choosing to move, even while fear is walking beside you. One day, the people around you will see your confidence, your discipline, your success. They'll think it happened overnight. Only you will know the truth. It was built in the quiet mornings, the lonely nights, the difficult decisions, the moments when nobody was watching. But you kept going anyway. And that's what makes victory meaningful. So, before this video ends, make one promise. Not to me, not to anyone else. To yourself. Promise that you will take one step today, just one. Read one page, make one phone call, start one habit, take one risk you've been avoiding, because one decision becomes one action becomes one habit becomes one identity, and one identity creates an entirely new life. Never forget this. The greatest battle you will ever fight is not against the world. It is against the person you were yesterday. Win that battle again and again, and there is no limit to who you can become. Thank you for staying until the end. If this message reached your heart, don't let it stop here. Share it with someone who needs a reminder that they are stronger than they believe. Subscribe, keep learning, keep growing, and keep showing up. Because every sunrise gives you another chance to become the person your future is waiting for. The war within ends the moment you decide. I refuse to be the person my fear wants me to become, and that is where your new life truly begins.